The revenge of Mauricio Dubon happened today. The San Francisco Giants came to town, and single-handedly, Dubon took the team and put it on his back. The Astros won 7-3. We're going to talk about this exciting game and some things that we might be concerned about going forward on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you when you're not rooting on for Martin Maldonado, Mauricio Dubon, anybody else you're a fan club president of?
You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
All right, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing to us. Thank you for giving us big fat thumbs up. And thank you for becoming an everydayer. We're seeing people on Twitter saying, hey, I'm an everydayer. And everydayer is somebody that literally listens to our podcast every day. Brett and I make a big effort to do a podcast every day for y'all so you can listen on your way to work, at work, on your way home for work, whatever it is. We just love Astros baseball. We know you do too. So make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you check out your podcast. Become an everydayer and listen to the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Just go to Gametime. And don't forget, if you can't go to the game and you can't watch the game, you can always listen to every pitch on SiriusXM. You can listen to Robert Ford, Steve Sparks, every play on the home broadcast. Just download the SXM app and listen to it on SiriusXM and just search Astros. So, Brett, we went to the game. That was pretty exciting. At the first part of the game, we'll have to talk about Luis Garcia in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But this episode is brought to you by Mauricio Dubon. This is the legend of Mauricio Dubon. This is the revenge game of Mauricio Dubon. Everything is about Dubon in this episode.
Well, not everything. He's not the only one that got hits, but he had some big moments in this game, and he is definitely someone that coming into the game, honestly, I didn't really know that there was any kind of backstory to this, and apparently there's more to it than meets the eye. He basically mentioned that he knew that he was going to have a big game and he was going to have a big moment, and that he had not been treated well in San Francisco, something I was not aware of because all I heard about was how the fans in San Francisco and how the community of the San Francisco Giants fans absolutely loved Mauricio Dubon. I had heard stories that the teammates loved him, but it apparently was connected to playing time. We know he's getting a ton of playing time. Obviously, he is the second baseman until Jose Altuve comes off. But, when this game first started, the way they got started scoring, Jose Abreu singled to center and scored Mauricio Dubon. So you had a runner in scoring position, and Jose Abreu absolutely delivered. And it wasn't the only time he hit and delivered. One of the 5 runs they put up in that 7th inning was a Jose Abreu ground out where Alex Bregman scored. But you love seeing players go out there and have the game that they had, especially like Dubon. When he goes on a 20-game hit streak, then he goes over, then he sits, then he comes back in, and he has an absolute game. And right here, the quote that you put up here, he said he felt like he was not treated the right way in Chicago in terms of playing time. He said it felt good to beat the Giants tonight and reiterated that he's very happy with the Astros. Of course he is, because he's a part of their success. Who wouldn't be, right?
Right. And that was San Francisco, not Chicago, but we get what
Did
you're
I
saying.
say San Francisco? Did I
You
say
said
Chicago?
You said Chicago. I don't know
Okay.
why,
I
but
didn't even realize that. I don't even know why that's on my brain.
right.
That's odd.
So definitely something to kind of look at. And Dubon said he was fired up, and it was a big moment today to do this against his former team, like you were just saying. And Jock Peterson, we all hate Jock Peterson, definitely, but he said he pretty much beat us single-handedly today. Dubon just he had 3 hits, he had 2 RBIs on the day, and it just seemed like he had the big plays. I think didn't he have 2 doubles today? But it just seemed like no, he had 1 double, he had 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and it just seemed like after having that hitting streak, he kind of cooled off a little bit. He even had an off day on Sunday. But this is the Mauricio Dubon that we've been seeing. So after a little breather, we're seeing the guy that we've been kind of expecting. And I know that you and I were talking during the game about Jake Meyers' foul ball. Was it really a home run, or was it really a foul ball or something like that? But we couldn't really tell from where.
Well, I actually got confirmation on the way home, because I reached out to a friend and they said it was not a home run. And so it wasn't even over the line or something like that. I think it was under the line. And they basically said that it was the right call. So, Jake Meyers missed out barely on a home run, because from our seats, so trajectory, I could have sworn it went over the wall on the left. You're looking at the foul pole on the left side of the foul pole, but that's just, an errant judgment on our part. But dude, when they were up 1-0, and then freaking Jock Peterson comes up and hits that 2-run bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, that absolute laser. I'm like, what is going to happen? Like, we cannot let the
Brandon Bielak
Giants
pitching.
Do what?
It was Brandon Bielak. We haven't even talked about that yet.
Hold up. Brandon Bielak came in
and
pitched an absolute game. What do you mean it's Brandon Bielak
3
pitching?
walks.
Brandon Bielak, dude, the guy had 6 strikeouts in 4 innings. He had 3 walks, yes. But Eric, Brandon Bielak, sometimes it be like that. And look, I will say this about Bielak. The projection on him early on and the stuff that he has, he's a projected high side guy, 3-4 starter on a major league roster, on a major league starting rotation. He has not produced that.
Right.
He has become your classic quadruple A pitcher. But wouldn't it be a blessing within this curse, and we hope that nothing long-term is going on with these pitchers, I mean long-term, that Bielak comes in and can be that solid guy that can give you 4 to 6 innings if you need it.
Right.
We haven't had a Brad Peacock type of guy to come in middle of the game like that, and it would set up nicely. I think if Bielak can go out and have some solid outings and control the walks and keep these strikeout numbers up, if he goes 6 strikeouts to 3 walks, let's reduce that by a couple. Let's go to 7 strikeouts and 1 walk. And I think you've got the makings of a guy that's dependable, because beyond him, Blanco hasn't proven to be stretched out like that. Martinez falls off after 40 pitches. Brandon Bielak's got that durability. So he is susceptible to be bad on the mound, but I think he also, at the beginning of the year, I said he's going to be a guy that's going to contribute this year.
Yeah, and definitely throughout the long 162 game season, you're going to need a lot more pitchers in the starting rotation, and that's something you can really bet on throughout the season. Yeah, the Astros have been lucky in the past. Last year, they pretty much outside McCullers, they didn't deal with a lot of injuries, but it looks like this year they're going to be dealing with some injuries. Luis Garcia did talk about some his injury after game. We'll go ahead and have to talk about that in a second. But if you weren't able to go to the game because maybe you couldn't afford the tickets, well, Brett, I think we have a good way for them to get some last minute deals, right?
Yes, and I did that the other day. Look, I was at the game. I did that 5 for 30 deal or something like that. And I was there and I had an upper deck seat. And I was like, you know what? Going to the game, I want to sit closer. So what did I do? I pulled up my Gametime app. It was amazing. I sat in section 109. It was like row 12. And guys, I paid less than like $60 for this seat. It was amazing. Download the Gametime app today. Use the promo code Locked on MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Forget this mysterious website you have to go to or fumbling through your wallet to find your tickets. It's right there on your phone. You can get tickets in advance or right at the last minute. It's not just baseball, it's football, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. They have a game time guarantee, which means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 100%, 110% the difference. Get images of your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect. They also have a zone seating where you may not know the exact seat, but you can go to a zone. It gives you a bigger discount. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your wallet, like I mentioned, or your email. Download the Game Time app today. Create an account and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And if you want to experience a game, it is so rare that you would find a game so perfect. So go to sorare.com/lockedon. Look, I have Sorare on my phone and my team is rocking and rolling, and it is absolutely free. It is a fantasy baseball app where you get cards of players. And if you want to, you can get limited versions of cards, and your cards actually go up in value as your players increase their output on the field. And so, like right now on my all-star set, I have players like Holderman, Bell, Dubon, Hernandez, Jimenez, and May, even Schmidt from the Yankees. My second team, Brown, Presley, Alvarez, Reynolds, Goldschmidt, Adames, and Bednar. Look, this is an all-star team. This is an all-star app. So I want you to go to sorare.com/lockedon. Check it out. Your cards will increase in value. You can win prizes. You can win game day experiences. You can win autographs. You can take part in an event where you might get to meet Juan Soto or even Julio Rodriguez, the sponsors of this. So go to sorare.com/lockedon. Trust me, it's fun. Go check it out.
All right. I will just say, as somebody who was at the game and everybody who was there, we all had this sinking feeling once we saw, especially after Jose Urquidy before the game today went on to IL with shoulder, whatever issues. We'll talk about that in a second. But
shoulder inflammation.
Yeah, inflammation. For Luis Garcia to throw only 8 pitches into the start, not even record an out. This was like, oh, here we go again. We just had to cover. I know that Urquidy technically pitched deep into the game, but you can't keep on having situations like this, especially when you just lost one of your starters. And now Luis Garcia exits. And Garcia has been on a roll recently. He's rediscovered his everything. And so I know during the game, the Astros announced that it was a right arm discomfort or elbow discomfort.
Right.
And so after the game, he was asked about it. He said, I feel pain in the elbow. I had to call Maldi because I wasn't going to be able to throw another one. No pop, just pain. He said he'll get an MRI tomorrow. So I think that's a good thing that there's no pop. I'm not a doctor, but we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. But
yeah,
this is not good. And if you're looking for what's down there in AAA, I mean, Brandon Bielak's already up here. You have JP France. He's due to pitch on Thursday. He's got a 2-1 record with a 2.33 ERA with 26 strikeouts. And then you have Forrest Whitley. Forrest Whitley is 1-2 with a 6.0 ERA with 22 strikeouts. Forrest Whitley got off to a hot start. He's had a couple rocky starts recently. One of them we went to, it wasn't really super rocky. It just he gave up a few home run. But overall, he's had a pretty decent season. And the Astros need to see what he can do. And so the Astros have a couple choices if Luis Garcia has to go on IL. And if this is a long-term thing, the Astros may be in trouble.
Yeah, now I wouldn't spell certain doom for them. That they can go out if they need to make maybe, I don't know, a free agent signing. I'm not suggesting Mad Bum. I'm not suggesting Madison Bumgarner, but I have seen people mention his name. He is just kind of flailing out there. Maybe he could return to the 2012 Magic or whatever. But the whole thing with Urquidy is like, they were like, he is not going to be throwing. He's going to be out for a while. So you're like, wow. And so that's where the concern does come in. JP France could be that guy, Eric. And JP France was the pitcher of the week in the Pacific Coast League. He was actually the pitcher of the week for Astros Future as well. He has been pitching really well. Forrest Whitley, I still think, is at the stage this year where you keep him down there, because I want Forrest Whitley to get more quality starts and have a more sustained 2 or 3 times where he's out on the mound, really showing solid command, where he feels good coming off the mound. And because he clearly feels better and is doing better to start the season than he has in the last few years. So, things are trending in the right way. But you slow walk, to me, Whitley, because you don't want to rush him. JP France is more of your ready guy, more of your guy that is going to come up and do that. They do have Paredes down there, but he just is, I think he's your classic quadruple A guy. I think he's still too wild. But, Dusty Baker talked about his pitchers being hurt, and he mentioned the WBC, and he says, I can't help but think that, it says right here, I just hate to think that some of our guys, especially the Latin guys, went to the WBC, are coming up lame. And I'm just hoping that wasn't part of the cause and the problem. It could be that. It could be the pitch clock. It could be the changing of routines for Garcia. It could be something where he was so used to doing something for so long that a sustained change over time ended up doing something to that elbow that he normally wouldn't have done if he was in his normal routine. And look, I tried to say that I wasn't a big fan of the WBC and tried to go that on Twitter, and man, I got annihilated. Like, people are like, they have a right to play for their country. And it's not that I don't want these players to have pride where they come from and play for their country, but I'm sorry, their obligation is to the team first. If you're under contract to the team, and that, therein lies the problem. Now, you can't say for sure that it was the WBC, but you also can't say that it didn't have anything to do with it. And I think the pitch clock is something, I think it's too short. And baseball has seen an uptick in pitchers' injuries. I don't like the trend. The Astros are in a place pitching wise that I didn't see them at this point. Your one bright spot is Hunter Brown. Framber Valdez as well. Christian Javier's coming around. But, dude, Hunter Brown, let's just put this guy out on the mound tomorrow. He'll go 7, save the bullpen, win the series, and go from there. Because after your 3rd game, then you have a rest day, and it's on to Seattle. And I believe a 9-game road trip.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that Luis Garcia said he actually started feeling the pain after the 5th pitch, and he tried to keep on throwing. And then by the 8th pitch, it was just like, no, I can't do it anymore. So that's just not a good thing. So hopefully it's nothing major. When you're talking about the elbow with the pitcher, that is a big thing. I know Bryce Harper is supposed to make his debut with the Phillies tomorrow, coming back from Tommy John surgery. I think he's one of the quickest position players to come back from Tommy John surgery. So, but it's always scary when you hear the elbow with the pitcher, especially somebody that changed their delivery, like you talked about. And it's also, he did switch to the other side of the rubber recently. So maybe that put some extra strain on his arm. So who knows what's going on here, but the Astros have got to act quickly. Like, they recognize with Jose Urquidy, okay, it's not going to get better anytime soon. Let's get somebody else up here. Thank God they did. Just imagine if Brandon Bielak was not on this team today. Where would those 4 innings have come from? You already had to use Phil Maton for 2 innings, and then you kind of pieced the rest of it. I think Montero, and then who else was it? Presley was the final person. Let me look, but it just the Astros it was Stanek. That's who it was. Montero, then Presley, and so you didn't have to burn your entire bullpen for those 6 innings.
No, but you did throw Montero for a second day. He did give up that home run, and so.
Right.
Montero, I think, is good right now, and every other day guy or every 3-day guy. I don't know that you throw him back to back. I don't know why that is. Last year he was so dominant. Talking about guys being dominant and guys that are going to be coming back and guys that we can't wait to see play. I know before Daniel Lerner of the Chronicle was showing footage of, I think, Yanner Diaz taking some first base practice, and Dusty Baker actually said, when Michael Brantley returns, he's going to have him playing some first base as well. So that's an interesting spin. And everybody's wondering, how are we going to get Dubon in there? How are we going to get Corey Julks in there? Well, they're going to move these guys around, and they're going to be moving pieces. You might have more than one utility guy on this team, which probably will not be a bad thing. Abreu came up big today, had some key at bats. I think the May Abreu that you spoke of, hey, it's May. Abreu's going to start turning a new leaf, and he's going to start hitting. He started off May right. He started off in the right direction. But it also helps when the rest of the team is hitting. Corey Julks got involved in that big inning. We talked Jake Myers just missed another home run. These guys are doing an admirable job. And, this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. And let me tell you, there are times in life when you know that you help so many people. You talk to them, you try to encourage them, but sometimes you being the outlet for so many people can be a strain and can be a stress. And so it's easy to get caught up on what other people have going on in their life. My question is, do you take time for yourself? Do you feel stretched out? Do you feel burnt out? Well, therapy can give you the tools to find with more balance for your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. See, it's so important that you take care of yourself when you're taking care of others. I've used BetterHelp for myself, and I can tell you that the app they have, the ease of finding a qualified therapist that you want to talk to is there. And if you get a therapist after a couple sessions and you want to try somebody else, you can switch, and there's no cost. So if you're thinking of starting therapy today, please go to BetterHelp. Please try it. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited for your schedule. So just fill out the brief questionnaire, get matched up, like I said, with a licensed therapist, and with no charge, you can always change it. Find more balance with BetterHelp. So visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB today for 10% off your first month, because Eric and I care about you guys because y'all are loyal listeners, and we want you to be your best you. So go to BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/LockedOnMLB today.
All right, and go ahead and catch every pitch of the Astros season on the SiriusXM app. Just go and download the app, SXM app, and go and search Astros. Catch Steve Sparks and Robert Ford with all the confusion that probably was happening on the radio today with what's going on with Luis Garcia. I can just imagine the conversation there.
Wow.
And also, if it's okay, Brett, I do want to go ahead and mention that tomorrow, for everybody that's listening to this podcast, go and check out me and Brandon. We're going to be doing during tomorrow's game, we're going to be doing on the Relevant app. We're going to be go ahead and do kind of like a Streaking Orange cast, where we're going to be kind of talking throughout the game and just talking baseball with you. Y'all can come and join, watch it too. So this is something that I'm trying. We're working with Sean from Sports Talk 790, and this is a cool little thing. So, but looking at Bielak, I think that it was great that he came up for considering he was supposed to start in tomorrow's game. It's great that he was able to give us 4. He was supposed to start for the Space Cowboys tomorrow. He came up and did what he could do for 4 innings. And so from this point, I think the Astros need to decide, what do we need to do? Is it better to just play it safe with Luis Garcia? We still have the other 3 starters. Do we go with Bielak as the 4th guy? What are we going to do here? So let's go ahead and just make a prediction. I think it's probably, I mean, I know you've already kind of say JP France. They're going to have to give Forrest Whitley a chance at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Bielak go down and they bring both of them up just to, you need 2 starters. And I know you have the Tuesdays off and Thursdays off, so you don't really need 5 starters during May, but still it would be nice to have a 5-man rotation. But at some point you got to see what Forrest Whitley can do at big league level. And sometimes these guys don't blossom till they get to big league level. They're just kind of going about the business, and then once they get up to big league level, that's when the light turns on. So that may be Forrest Whitley.
And I mean, I definitely think there is some merit to that. Of course, part of this is we don't even really know. Part of this is just a guessing game. But if I were to map it out right now, I still want to give Whitley more time. And the reason why I want to give Whitley more time is because I want to make sure that Whitley is 100% ready, especially with the injuries. So me saying I don't want Whitley right now does not mean I don't trust him. I absolutely trust him when the Astros feel like he is ready. But I would have the rotation as Valdez. I might even go Valdez and then Brown. But Valdez, Javier, Brown, Bielak, and France. You could have Ronel Blanco in there for Bielak. If Bielak falters a little bit, you can have Seth Martinez on the ready. If JP France doesn't go very far. So you've got a couple arms that could come in and give you some innings. Hector Neris can give you more than one inning. So you do have arms that can come in behind them, but I think you have a 5-man rotation right there with Valdez, Javier, Brown, Bielak, and France. And really, there's not much after that. So are the Astros, is Dana Brown getting on the phone? And people keep mentioning Madison Bumgarner. Now, the automatic, like my thought is, if Brett Strom couldn't fix Mad Bum, then how are we going to fix Mad Bum? But then again, who knows? Like, maybe you take a flyer on the guy, because I believe his salary is being paid by the Diamondbacks anyway. So
yeah, so if you're going to pay him the major league minimum, if you claim
exactly,
it,
so it's not going to be, maybe it's a low risk, high reward. But then again, why is it that he just completely got cut out? Because he signed a pretty big deal with the Diamondbacks, and they were willing to eat that cost. So that is where I would caution people in going down that route. If the Astros did get him, then there would be something that they knew or found out about him that, we didn't otherwise know. And I haven't looked into AAA beyond these guys that we're talking about. I know Sean Dubon at times has been talked about. I know he struggled last year with some injuries, and there are some other guys. Wednesday. Say again?
He's pitching Wednesday. Brian, is it Brian Abreu or the Brian guy is pitching tomorrow? I can't remember his.
Brian Garcia?
Brian Garcia, yeah.
So he's Brian Garcia is also pitching. Parker Mashinsky, I think, is back off of the.
He's not a starter, but yeah.
He's not a starter, but I'm just saying he is another arm that would be serviceable in the bullpen. Those are my 5, Eric. I just don't see Forrest Whitley right now. Give him some more success. Give him some more time. Let him go longer. Let him really gain that confidence. So when he comes up, he can do that. And someone says Blanco can step up. Blanco can step up, but Blanco started hot and kind of cooled off a little bit.
Yeah,
so
and he's not stretched out as he was.
Say again?
He's not as stretched out as he was to begin.
No, you're right about that. He's not. So you got to catch lightning in a bottle with one of these guys. The offense basically is going to have to carry things. I think the pitching keeps you in it for the most part, but you've got to control those walks, and you've got to make sure that your pen's not being overextended game in and game out. Tomorrow, I think you probably don't see Presley again. If you do, it's because they have a rest day and they're going on the road. But Press came in with it. It wasn't a 1-run game, but you brought him in because he is your closer, and you want to make sure that the Giants don't do anything to come back in the 9th inning. So I thought that was a good call on Dusty's part.
All right, this is a cool quote from Brandon Bielak. He says, "The past few days with Urquidy and Luis going down, I was hoping to go out there and save the bullpen and give them as many bullets as I can. We'll see what happens, Urquidy and Luis. that's been my main goal my whole career, to work into the starting rotation with the Astros. So if I get the opportunity, I'm going to take it and run with it.
Oh
So
yeah, let me tell you, I have confidence in Brandon Bielak. He has this. He has the stuff. He has the makeup. It's just putting it together on a consistent basis and not falling apart and not losing command.
right.
Dude, he's got it. He's a big body pitcher. He's got a great windup. He's got a great leg kick. He throws with a lot of power. I mean, his legs are very strong. And when he gets a fastball across the plate and he hits that strike zone, he is a very good pitcher. He 93, 94 on the fastball, that he brings in that slow curve. And so Brandon Bielak's going to be that guy. And we joke sometimes at Bielak that, but I think Brandon is up for the call. He was like that the first time I interviewed him in 2019. And I don't think he's changed. He's probably only gotten stronger since then mentally.
All right. So 2 days in a row where the Astros lost the starting pitcher. The Astros will rely on Hunter Brown, who's looking for his fourth victory in tomorrow's game. He's 3-0 with a 2.37 ERA with 32 strikeouts. Anthony Del Scafani, he is 2-1. Scafani, whatever. It's 2-1 with a 2.70 ERA with 27 strikeouts. So there's not much history between either one. I know Alvarez in 3 at-bats is batting, has 1 hit, but that's about it. So there's not much experience there. And yes, I don't know how much we actually talked about it, but Martin Maldonado did have a great game today, and he put the ball in play a lot. And somebody wanted us to have a second of Martin Maldonado appreciation. I know we do every time, mostly in this game.
You're talking to the Martin Maldonado fan club president. I am the leader of the Astros cult. Apparently, I see things through an Astros colored glasses. And I never have anything valid to say because I let my fandom get in the way because I'm so passionate. They are my ride or die. So take that, haters. Dude, Maldonado is my MF and catcher, period, end of story. Come at me, bro. Come at me.
But that run from first to third base and that slide, I was just like, is that really Martin Maldonado trying to,
man? Y'all hate on the dude. You know what? Keep hating on him. Just like in New York when they say blank Altuve, y'all keep hating on Maldonado.
Yeah.
And then you'll continue to make jokes. Well, he went from a 24 to a 27 OPS plus or something. Whatever, dude. Just, you know what? Look, if you don't like the team, go cheer for the Dodgers. Okay. Just move along. Take your negativity somewhere else until they come off. The fact that he's a starter. I know people are like, oh, Diaz isn't in there again. Yeah, because he's not the starter. And they're going to get him. I bet they get him his 300 at bats. He's going to get a lot here in probably about 3 weeks. You watch, Dusty's going to drop the hammer because he said in about 2 or 3 weeks, he's going to start playing more. So we'll see. May 21st, is Diaz getting a more primary role?
I'm just glad the Astros scored 5 runs in the 7th inning because their offense looked pathetic for the first, 5 or 6 innings. I know you scored that run at the beginning, but there's no offense. And then Ross Stripling was just doing so good. And then, but the 5 run,
I don't like that guy. Hate's a strong word. Sorry.
The 5-run outburst in the 7th inning was just awesome to see. Everybody was just like standing up at that point, like down on the field level. You literally have to stand up to be able to see sometimes. But Brett, you have any closing thoughts?
I love this team. I know that they have injuries, but I think everything will work itself out. And I told y'all that 2023 was going to be different than 2022. And it's going to be with bumps and bruises. But when the Astros win the World Series this year, you're going to thank guys like Mauricio Dubon, Martin Maldonado, Dusty Baker, and you're going to be more proud of this World Series than any other World Series that's been won in the last 10 years.
All right. Well, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you check us out where we are talking all Mauricio Dubon all day long on the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. Find me on Twitter, Eric Doc Strohs. Find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse. And he's got a jersey now that says his name, H-Town Wheelhouse. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe to us and make us your first listen and become an everydayer. And we will see you tomorrow. And go Stros.
Haters gonna hate, baller's gonna ball. Martin Maldonado's gonna kick them all.